Welcome to Skills to Pay Your Bills. I'm your host, Don Moraney, and this is our special segment called The Wealth Zone University. And as you know, our mantra is change your mind about money so you can change your financial future. In our last segment, we were fortunate enough to have awardees of the 2013 Small Business Association Award and a co-hosting with the acting director of the Small Business Administration for the Washington District, yes, Mr. Antonio Das. We're going to continue with our awardees because we want to know more about what they do, but also about their philosophy in business. And we touched on a couple of really important things in the last segment that I'd like to explore. So we're going to get back to that. Antonio, when we were in the last segment, we had a discussion about mentoring.
Yes.
The responsibility to mentor other individuals. Yes. Is there a thing called a MentorProtege Program inside of the SBA?
There is. Within the 8A program, one of the key components we have is a mentor-protege. And again, this is an idea that is designed around helping those firms who are working their way up in through the government contracting area and any other area that they're really doing to be able to team up with a firm who has already had more success. They're larger, they're generally more stronger, they've got more skills, they've got more background in some areas that maybe the younger firm doesn't yet have. Mm-hmm. And together they work in a way that allows the mentee firm mm-hmm. to be able to, the protege firm to be able to grow and advance their business.
So in this instance, Sahir's firm, Aurora Group, has graduated. Mm-hmm. Mr. Armstrong, Willie's firm, Armstrong Custom Signs, is just getting into it. Right. The fact that Sahir has already graduated, mm-hmm. does that prevent him from being a mentor?
No.
So that relationship can exist?
Right, that's exactly right.
Okay. Now, is it a contractual relationship in the mentor-protege program?
Yeah, we actually have an agreement that exists between the mentor and the protege, and one of the things that SBA does with any of our mentor-protege or joint venture agreements is we make sure that the interests of the small business, the protege in this case, mm-hmm. Are managed well. We want to make sure that the terms and the conditions of that agreement are such that the protege can benefit and doesn't get taken advantage of by a larger firm. There are sometimes larger firms who see advantageous opportunities by working with mm-hmm. a smaller firm, mm-hmm. and we want to just make sure that that's a balance.
That's equilibrium.
And I tell you, our staff, we have board meetings within our office where we review these particular situations as they come about. I can't tell you how much they fight for the interest of that small firm.
That's great.
Yeah, they really dig into the documents. They make sure that everything is such that there's not going to be a problem and that it's going to really work well for the smallest of those firms.
And as a complement to your program, a lot of the local communities, I know Montgomery County mm-hmm. has a mentor-protege program right. that's built right. on yours right. because my company went through their program early on and we mentor. So that's fantastic.
Right.
Armstrong Custom Signs. How you guys doing?
Excellent.
I tell you, awardees, I love it. What kind of services does Armstrong Custom Signs provide?
Well, we're a visual graphics and communications company, so at our most basic level, we communicate messages for our clients. And so our core competency is signage. And so the medium that we use to display these messages are signs, and we're able to customize them. We design, we build, and we mm-hmm. install our signs. We have graphic artists that are able to take images or even create logos or images, and we're able to display them in several different ways, whether that's on a banner, whether that's on an LED lighted sign, mm-hmm. whether that's on an awning where we can actually build the awning and display it, whether it's on a fence where we can build the fence through welding. We're able to print t-shirts mm-hmm. and put images on clothing mm-hmm. and hats. There's really no limit when it comes to communicating a message where we're not able to go into that atmosphere. Even we're now expanding our services where we can help people with their branding and communicating their message, both from a physical standpoint with the sign and also in the media as well.
Okay, I've got a tip, monogram socks. We'll talk about that. Rachel, what sets LS Technologies apart from other companies in your mind?
In this region, I'm sure you've heard of a million government consulting companies, and they all sound like they do pretty much the same thing. But what we do is we don't just provide these common services, we provide them consistently at a higher level. We are different from other companies in that our customer has really developed a sense of trust with us. The Federal Aviation Administration knows that they can count on us for no-nonsense solutions. We'll give them the best value and the services that they need and nothing more. We'll give them the honest truth of what we can and can't do. They know they can trust us to go into sensitive environments. Air traffic control towers, if somebody bumps into the wrong thing, an airplane could be coming down, but they know that they can trust us with our technical expertise and our business management skills, our financial services, really the full life cycle. We can be there for our customers.
Okay, thank you very much. Vincent,
Yes.
Amsco Global, what's the biggest challenge facing you and Amsco Global at this point in time and maybe in the short term?
Sure. In our company, basically our strength is our sales engineers. We get inquiries. We are a general trading business. We get inquiries, in different engineering specialties, mechanical, electrical, electronics, civil, construction. So we need to have expert sales engineers who are more, knowledgeable about the products that are available here, and so that we can source it, from various manufacturers, American manufacturers. So to get that talent at reasonable,
Sure.
salaries in the Washington region, it's difficult.
So what is the solution?
The solutions are in plenty. We train people.
Okay.
We hire
Right.
junior level people and we train them.
Inside.
We
okay.
train them. That is one thing, and we can think outsourcing. I mean, if we can, develop that. There are definitely solutions, and we are working towards those.
Okay.
So that is definitely a big challenge to get qualified people with engineering knowledge and knowledge of the specifications and the requirements that are coming.
Do you see the academic STEM criteria, science, technology, engineering, math? Do you see that as a way of bringing people? that you
Definitely,
need?
it can really help.
Okay.
We need to have more general workforce who are more, oriented towards the technology. And not talking about IT itself, but mechanical, electrical technologies, where they read these specifications and they can understand what exactly they're talking about.
Okay.
They don't need to be experts, but they need to have kind of an access to general language in these disciplines.
And you can teach them to be experts.
And we
I'm
can
sure.
teach them, but at the same time, they have to have a flavor for it. They have to have an interest in it. So that's actually one of the major challenges.
Great. Sudhir, I've got a really great question for you. If you could give advice to yourself 25 years ago, when you were making that leap from being a physician to an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, I might add, what would you say? But before you answer that question, tell us, you were actually a physician before you became a businessman?
I practiced as a radiologist in the
Okay.
private practice.
Okay.
I was in academic medicine. I was training other doctors at local universities before I jumped into and become an entrepreneur.
And so you were making so much money that you decided you didn't want to make any money, so you decided to go into business for yourself, right?
Well, coming back to your earlier question,
Yes.
going back 25 years ago, if I had to advise this new entrepreneur, one thing I would suggest is get a willing mentor who can keep you away from making mistakes, rookie mistakes, and sometimes very expensive mistakes. But also, sometimes I believe the hardships that I faced during early stages of business development are making me successful today.
Okay.
So I'm conflicted. I'm giving you both sides of the thing. It would have been easier if I had a mentor, and I believe my proteges have had easier time. But on the other hand, sometimes passing through hard time makes you a better person. And I do
right.
believe for personal and professional development, one has to try to face the problem yourself before going for help. So, did I answer your question?
Well, but I wanted, before we leave there, you were very successful before you went into business. And did you take that success and just translate it, or was there a period of time where you had to reacclimate yourself to a brand new way of doing things to become a business owner and an entrepreneur?
Well, about 25 years ago, I used to wonder about the corrosive effect of HMOs and insurance companies on how I, a physician, practice what I had been trained for.
Okay, cap rates and things like that, right?
A lot of things. Again, I'm saying their probably first and foremost goal was save money. As a healthcare provider, I wanted to use my scientific knowledge and managerial skills to take up the issues of low productivity, and improve the patient care. And I did wonder the chances of success going against the forces of status quo. And I remember a great American philosopher and clergyman, Everett E. Hale. And he said, and I quote,
He comes with his own quotes. I love this man.
because again, I don't want to misquote him.
I'm messing with you,
And
Sudhir.
this is interesting. He said, quote, "I'm only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can.
Great.
And what I can do, I should do. And what I should do, by the grace of God, I will do."
I like that.
So, end of quote. So it was a lot of soul searching and the enlightened words of Reverend Hale that helped me move from being a practicing physician to entrepreneur.
That's a fantastic story. I mean, just all of you have fantastic stories. Please, Antonio.
Well, you know, and you mentioned mentoring, and we've talked about it a couple times, and I do want to make sure we cover one other aspect of mentoring that SBA does. We have, within our resource partner community, we have an organization called SCORE. And SCORE is a group of mentors. These are men and women who have been in industry, they've been business owners, they've done things in their lives, and they've got a skill set, and they're willing to spend time on a volunteer basis to give back and help companies who are working their way through, entrepreneurs who are working their way through. So we do a lot of mentoring with our SCORE operation. Again, they're tremendous volunteers. They're free service, so that's a good thing. Anytime you can get good quality service for free. We also have our Small Business Development Center network, and I know that Armstrong Science has worked with our SBDC in Washington, D.C. based and hosted at Howard University, but you've worked with the Anacostia Center. It's another area where we actually do a lot of individual coaching and mentoring and training for businesses so that they make less of those critical mistakes early on and make better decisions along the way.
That's good.
We also have women's business centers as well in Virginia, in Washington, D.C., and now a new one also in Rockville, Maryland. So we're really very fortunate to have this set of resources.
And
here.
I can vouch for the effectiveness of the business development centers. We did attend.
Sahir, before you go, we're going to break for 1 second and get back to that. When we come back, I want to talk more about what you see for the individual futures of your company, okay? And then Antonio, we're going to wrap up with whatever you need to say about SBA. We're going to be right back. Don't miss this part. This part is going to be better than the part we just went through, and that was great. See you in a second.
Hello and welcome. Skills to Pay the Bills is a show that provides information to everyday citizens, families, and businesses regarding the current economy and how to protect themselves. We have some exciting programming in the upcoming weeks featuring subject matter experts from the Small Business Administration who will share information and demystify the whole 8A certification process and set aside contracting for women, veterans, and minorities, as well as provide education for small business owners. So I encourage you to watch Skills to Pay the Bills right here on Fairfax Public Access Channel 10 on Wednesdays, 1:30 a.m., Thursdays, 10 a.m., and Fridays, 7:30 p.m. For PG and Montgomery counties, please check your local cable listings. For more information, please feel free to visit www.sba.gov. And don't forget to watch Skills to Pay the Bills.
Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to finish the interesting discussion we were just having. So we're going to jump right into our discussion with our awardees. Armstrong Custom Signs, let me get back to you. What's next for you? What do you see? We understand that you've been in business 24 years. Is that right, Willie?
30.
30 years, absolutely.
30
But you're just beginning to go into the SBA government contracting process.
Right.
What do you see next for Armstrong Signs in that process?
Well, we primarily, for the existence of our business, have been focused on the small business community. So we want to take those same competencies and take it to a bigger market. And so we'll always be dedicated to the small business community and the organizations in our area, and we always want to be even better to that community. But we're starting to change our focus a little bit to acquiring more certifications, particularly the 8A certification, and going after the federal market. And so as we do that, we also want to adjust what we do in the small business community, where we do a lot of work for churches and organizations. We want to get to the point where we can start to donate a lot of that work, where we can start to open up more opportunities for training, apprenticeship, and internships. So as we grow, we want to just pour right back into the community that made us what we are.
Great. And Antonio already said that you guys are already involved very, very much in your community, so this is just an expansion of that.
We are, and fortunately for us, as we give into the community and we serve the community, we've also been able to benefit from the Anacostia Development Center, which is one of those resource centers that the acting director mentioned. And we've had the pleasure of meeting with them on a regular basis, and they're giving us counseling. They're guiding us in our 8A certification process, and really, it's really taken us to another level, even where we are now, preparing for where we are going.
Good. And I want the audience to know that Willie is a ventriloquist, so he's really doing the talking. Don't let him fool you, okay? Rachel,
Yes.
for LS Technologies, talk about the growth and the changes that you see over time for LS Technologies.
In the beginning years of LS Technologies, our owner, Tom Loftus, would go driving around the country on his motorcycle to all the implementation sites. He would get a job that would require implementing new equipment all over the country for the FAA, and he would personally go himself to make sure that everything was done to the technical specifications. He was really the expert in those situations. He also liked to engage with the customer personally to make sure all their needs were met. As the company grew and grew, he met other experts all over the country who really had the same passion for technical expertise, and he brought them into our company and recruited them.
Great.
So now those are the leaders of our company who are really expanding our services in all different parts of the FAA. So we now do things from the very beginning stages, the acquisition, to the engineering services, to program management, and even the operations continue, technical support and training. So we can really do these services from beginning to end. We specialize in air traffic control, and working with the FAA has been a wonderful experience, and these skills that we've learned, our executive team has a ton of experience with the government. Many of them started directly with the government and have gone up through the senior ranks. They know government inside and out, and we'd like to bring our services to other government agencies outside the FAA, especially the Department of Defense.
Great, fantastic. Thank you very much. That is really good. Does Tom still ride his motorcycle around town?
He sure does. That's why he's not here today.
Okay. Vincent, what's next for Amsco Global? What do you see happening?
Sure. We are an exporter mostly to the Middle East region, so we are looking at having a local presence there. We are discussing a couple of places, Dubai or Saudi Arabia, somewhere.
Okay.
Having a local presence there.
So you're expanding out of India then?
No, actually expanding to the Middle East region, where we can have a local presence, so our sales folks can focus more on the market, and and then that is one thing. And definitely to defeat the challenge that we have with getting qualified engineers here.
Which we talked about earlier.
We are thinking of moving into a different jurisdiction to have at least some part of our sales force work from, say, Houston, and Houston has other advantages as well, with oil and gas being one of our major areas where we support.
Good.
Or Florida, one of those things we are considering. So these are the two things that are currently in my mind, thinking about the expansion. That is challenging, and definitely going into another country and setting up, and so we are exploring that with some local partners there.
Great. My best friend, sit here. You graduated. What do you see happening for the Aurora Group now that you've graduated? You're still doing well. You've come out. You are actually a role model for everyone here. What do you see happening for Aurora Group going forward?
Well, we have been successful and working with our proteges. We have
How many
mentored
proteges
four.
do you have?
We have mentored at a time only one.
Okay. But over
although
the years,
SBA, in their discretion, can approve more than one protege, but we have mentored only one at a time.
Okay.
Over the last 10 or I would say 12 years.
Okay.
Our first protege was when SBA started its MentorProtege Program. I was still a 8A company. I was still small, and I did accept my first protege, and we were very successful with that protege. After that, we have had 3 more proteges. Out of the 4, 3 have been Maryland companies. One was a Texas company. Partnering with them, with joint venturing with them, we created 3,100 jobs in 31 states and District of Columbia.
So commendable.
These are good paying jobs, and we are proud of that. What's in future? Well, we have to be flexible. The federal contracting arena is very dynamic. Last 3 or 4 years, there have been a lot of insourcing. We have lost hundreds of our employees to the federal government. They became federal employees. And you know that there's a nationwide shortage of healthcare workers.
Sure, yes.
And some of the locations we serve, far away in Alaska and Hawaii, they are not so easy to fill those positions. So it's a difficult market. So we would like to keep on doing the same and maybe more. Most of our business currently is with Department of Defense, Army, Navy, and Air Force. Only part of the DoD healthcare we have not done yet is outside the continental United States.
Okay. And
So that will be
you
the
seem
next
to have
step.
the flexibility that you
That is the next
willing
step.
to tackle that also.
Yes, sir.
That sounds so good. Sudhir Arora, 2013 Graduate of the Year Award. Willie Armstrong. I'm pointing to both of you. You like that, right? 2013 Directors Award. Rachel, for Tom Loftus, it's the 2013 Small Business Person of the Year Award for the District of Columbia. And Vincent Palathingo, got it, Exporter of the Year Award for 2013. Antonio, we've got such a great group of
We certainly do.
successful businesses here. From your perspective as acting director, what can you share what's the commonality do you see in these businesses, and how can these businesses be good representatives for what you're doing in Small Business Administration?
Well, you see there's a wealth of knowledge, subject matter expertise in each one of these, whether it was Willie starting as a very young person or others who have done this, gotten their education and been able to specify or really specialize in a particular area. That detail that you spoke of in terms of how Tom went around to every place to make sure it was done to the technical specifications, that's a key consideration. Our successful business owners have the ability to really focus in on delivering quality products, but they also have a passion. I think as you heard each business owner speak, you could hear about the passion of what they've been able to do with their company. So it's not about just having a company to make money. It's having a company to fulfill a dream. It's having a company to be able to provide a service and to do it better at a standard higher than what anybody expects. And those are key considerations.
Absolutely. And these companies, though, from just getting into the government contracting arena to graduating to one that it's not even in the arena and fantastic, it's such a diversity of skills and experiences here that, audience, you've got to see yourself somewhere in this mix. And with the help of Antonio Doss, and I would imagine that everyone here would encourage the audience to contact them at their information that you're going to see on your screen. Please make sure that you share and learn from these successful companies, these successful company leaders. And since we have the buck stops here person at the SBA, I'm sure Antonio, please share with them what the SBA would like to see happen from the communication with the small business community.
Well, again, we talked earlier about our marketing and outreach, and one of the things we really want to make sure people understand is that we want to be there to help 24/7. So if you haven't engaged with SBA yet, www.sba.gov. That's the place, that's our website. There is a tremendous wealth of information about all of our programs and services. We think in SBA in terms of our 3 C's, which are capital. Having access to capital is so critical for all the businesses, and we help literally hundreds of businesses around this market every year get access to working capital loans, equipment loans, fixed asset purchases. The second C we talk about is contracting, which we've talked a lot about today. And contracting deals with government contracting, also deals with the private sector, the commercial supply chain.
Okay.
And so we're encouraging and working with businesses in that area. And international trade is another contracting option. So we're really pushing contracting. And then the counseling or the coaching that we spoke of with the small business development centers, with the SCORE and the Women's Business Center programs are all really, really important things. I speak in terms of a fourth C that we have now, which is collaboration. And we at SBA excel because we work collaboratively with others. We delegate authority to our banks and lenders to make the loans happen. We do that in a collaborative fashion. We collaborate with universities like George Mason here in Virginia, Howard University in DC, University of Maryland in Maryland to deliver our small business development centers. We collaborate with the SCORE volunteers, our Women's Business Center hosts. And everything we do, we are working closely with local government. We're really spending time trying to make sure there's a seamless difference between what, say, the DC government small business support offers and what we offer and how we work together. And we're looking to do the same thing around the region with Prince George's and Montgomery and Fairfax, et cetera, Arlington, Alexandria. So we're here to help. We want to be able to be a big part of your success, and we want to see you be successful because we know it's important not only to your business, but to the community. It's part of what makes America special. So thank you again to all your success.
Absolutely. And you are proof that SBA does work. Absolutely living proof. So theoretically, we can talk about it, but your companies actually show from the beginning to the end that SBA does have successful programs. And so that's living proof. And you've got the number one guy here to come and let you know that he's interested in making sure that your company, becomes as successful as our awardees here. So what more can you ask for? Get up, make the call, become friends with our awardees, get in touch with SBA, contact me at my Twitter address. Let's get into business. Let's get into economic freedom. Awardees, thank you for participating with us, for hanging with us today. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And you're now members of our family. So, at Christmas, I expect a present. Kidding. And my newest friend, Antonio, thank you for hanging out with us for a while.
We appreciate you.
We'll see you next session. But please, don't miss the opportunity to get involved with these successful companies and also take advantage of what SBA has to offer. We will see you next segment. As always, be well, be prosperous, be good. Have a good day.